And I think we should recognize that human rights are very important. We all embrace it. We all agree to it. It's not something that the Europeans are pushing on us. We embrace it. That there are a tradition in our communities that embrace that. We recognize our humanity. We respect each other. We want to take accountability for the things that happen to us in our community. Any violation, we despise it. But this assertion that Europeans have or the West has the upper hand over that, over this, and want to push down on us is something that we should reject. What we are saying here is that it should not be politicized. We all have shortcomings. And Eritrea went through this process, of course, in relation to the human rights concern that they said is allegedly taking place in Eritrea. And we know it wasn't much about the human rights. It was about harassing the nation, politicizing it so that you continue to demonize that state, arm twist. And in fact, those rapporteurs or commissions that they establish, they go beyond their duty and mandate to interfere in other spaces. Just to give you an example, the person that was put as the chair of the Commission of Inquiry for Eritrea is a terrorism, counterterrorism expert. He's not a lawyer, just a counterterrorism expert. And it tells you something about him. Why was he there? Yeah, and of course we know that in Eritrea, what they did was with the sanction in relation to Eritrea's alleged involvement in Somalia at the UN Security Council it wasn't tenable. And so what they did was at the fallback position, they instituted this human rights rapporteur. And once you have that, it just never goes away. So they established the rapporteur, and it didn't work out for them. Then they went for COR, Commission of Inquiry, in 2014, and then 2016 they released the report. And in all those case making against Eritrea and demonizing Eritrea, Eritreans have tried to mobilize themselves, send their information, their details, but the Commission of Inquiry was not going to entertain it. In fact, the UN office there at Geneva was overwhelmed with the kind of letters that we're receiving, over 100,000, I think, at some point. And they said, no, we're not going to accept anything, And then they dismissed them as government organization. But then they would be bringing in NGOs that they fund, that would receive a table, special table day. And all the civil society we have, they're not going to be afforded the space to make their case at those forums. And it tells you so much about how those arrangements are skewed to those who have significant power over those institutions, and particularly those who have the resource and the means. Yeah, the NGOs are funded by the West. We know that. The UN is significantly funded by the West. We know that, and all those inquiries are funded by them as well. So therefore, they tend to have a significant clout on those institutions and commissions that are often established. Yeah. So Eritrea rejected year in, year out, and insisted upon the only way to make human rights visible for all of us is through universal periodic review, which is accepted by most states. We lead the process. We first assess our own situation, recognize what's our shortcomings. We're not saying that we fully respecting all human rights aspect, or there are shortcomings and there are mistakes that happen, and we'll try to rectify them, and we want to rectify them, but we need to be supported and we need to lead the process. if somebody else is shoving down your throat something, it's unlikely to be accepted. Yeah. And the resistance would be a lot more stronger. So Eritrea had insisted on that, but the UN Human Rights Commission been reluctant to accept it. And of course, those countries that constantly reject that is the West and their allies, constantly. And of course, and I think we've seen that the slight shift. Eritrea is also part of, has joined the Human Rights Council as well, and in an attempt to be in the inside and trying to influence it from the inside, learn something from it, contribute something from it as well. And many African states are doing that as well. But we know when it comes to vote, they try to lobby them, not only lobby them, use aid and other support that they give them as a leverage. You know, if you vote along with us, we offer you a BCD. If you vote along with us, then the aid, you know, you would receive this aid and that aid. That's how they had been manipulating other states, and particularly African states had been vulnerable to that kind of manipulation, bullying, you know, the carrot and the stick approach that they always have. And this somehow suggests to me that, you know, those organizations and this kind of institution that we have as a universal and global establishment, it is becoming an extension of their foreign policy, for a platform through which they push their foreign interests. And this comes very clearly when you look at the number of countries that are already under investigation by the UN. There are 11 of them, and only qualifies to be investigated, and that's with that kind of severity. The rest are just the West hasn't liked them. They're too close to China or Russia, or you know, one or another reason that they want to influence process at the local level. And in fact, the one that is responsible or should be investigated, America walked away in protest because it felt that, you know, its favorite country is being harassed. And other Europeans countries have been also been dismayed by this process for some reason and protesting against it. But whenever it is Congo, DRC has been mentioned, Ethiopia or Eritrea has been mentioned, they always, you know, hammering at us, and always, you know, want to present themselves as defenders of human rights. Yeah. So when it suits them, they defend us. When it doesn't, then they want to trespass the process or arm twist the process. So I think it's very important that we recognize those challenges, and we know that we want to ensure accountability. We want to learn to do it. We want our institutions to be afforded the space to be able to account for those issues. Yeah, and Africa is coming to the party. Yeah, it's not a bystander. It wants to take charge, but not bullied and be pushed left and right center in order to meet Western standard of what human rights should be. We understand it, we respect it, and the way we respect it, the way we understand it, should be also be recognized. And we don't expect everybody to embrace it, but at least we have our own ways, manners, and institutions that would be able to deal with those challenges. We recognize those are challenges, and the remedy can only come from within. And if there is any support we need, then we can go out and ask for them. But then they want to come as a party to it. Yeah, both the funders, prescribers, and demanding all that, it's not going to work. And I think we should see that those days are gone. Yeah, where issues are dictated on us. They define the problem for us. They prescribe the solution for us. They provide the resource that would make this happen for us. It's no longer there. It's not a tenable arrangement, and many African states are already rejecting that. And you could clearly see in this outcome that we saw with regards to Ethiopia. all of them except Malawi rejected it, rightfully so. Yeah, and if Malawi had voted no, then it would have been a tie, clearly. And of course, if you add all the others, then it's a predominantly rejected. They can take home whatever they want, but in the end, it's not a popular vote. It's not a popular commission, and many of the commissions are not popular either, to be exact. I'll leave it here. Thank you very much.